Hi my friends, welcome back to another tutorial. I hope you're all keeping very well out there today. This week, this lovely little window scene, beautiful little picture, very eye-catching, isn't it? Especially those brights on the bottom and that light coming in the window. I think is just fantastic. It would make for a unique tutorial, something different. You know, it's nice to stretch your arms every now and again. Just try something different rather than painting landscapes all the time. Very good for techniques and getting used to different types of brushes and all that kind of stuff. So let's have a bit of fun with this. Thank you so much for your support. You're all putting up some beautiful paintings up on the page and sending me emails, etc. Fantastic work. You should be proud of yourselves. You're really doing very well. Okay, let's have a bit of fun with this. This is going to be different, isn't it? Let's see what we can do. Don't go anywhere. Okay, let's do this. There's the photograph up on your screen. Beautiful. I increased the saturation just slightly to bring the colours out a little bit more. Beautiful colours. So look, I have a 16 by 12 canvas here, and I've done a very quick sketch, okay? Now it's not primed or anything, all right? It's just dry to give us lovely textured effects. So we don't have to worry about the paint being too oily and wet, all right? So just a normal dry canvas. A quick sketch with a pencil. Don't worry about your pencil marks, they will come off with the paint, okay? I have my tile, my white ceramic tile, very nice little idea. Very easy for cleaning, just get a scraper, scrape it off, wipe it down, and it's as good as new again. So very good little idea there. Save the environment, save on paper, all that kind of stuff. Let me tell you what colours I have. Titanium white, Naples yellow, cadmium yellow pale, burnt umber, burnt sienna, some magenta, phthalo blue, lamp black, and cadmium red. They're my colours. So look, I suppose we could just start cracking on, couldn't we? We have a very dark blacky green in here. Now, I'm not sure whether to do the window first or the background. Do you know what? Let's do the trees outside first. How about that? We'll have a bit of fun with some bright trees out inside the garden, all right? I'm going to take a medium flat brush, slightly damp, just slightly, and let's mix a nice bright blue first. Phthalo blue with some white. Into that, I'm going to take a touch of cadmium yellow. So we have a very bright bluey green, okay? It's mostly blue, really. It's almost like a turquoise, let's say. Let's put that in just outside there. Paint over the window frame, don't worry about that. So I'll start with the light colours, I think, first, and then work in my darks. Let's take another bit of blue and a touch of magenta, because I want to complement the painting, okay? If you look at the photograph, if you download the photograph now and look at it very closely, you'll see we have lots of mauves, pinky colours going through the bottom here, a little bit of pinky colour going through the windowsill. So we complement that on the background by putting in a touch of a pinky mauve just out in the background, okay, into this blue, just here and there. And I think that will really complement the painting later on. So what I'm going to do is just dab up my brush, very rough brush, just dab, just to make it very rough looking, okay? Lots of foliage and all that kind of stuff going on. Now, I'm going to start introducing some darker colours. Take some phthalo blue, magenta, and some cadmium yellow. So we're going into more of a green colour now. Yeah, that's good. Because we want to create some distance and some depth in the scene, I'm making these very soft colours, all right? They're not very rich just yet. They're just nice and soft. Very soft, distant colours. And the blue in this will really push these back. That's why I put the blue in. Just to really push them back, all right? I'm going to keep the light up on top up here. Now I'm going to start going slightly darker. So we're working in our darks. I know typically with oil painting, you start with your darker shades first, but I want to do this carefully. I don't want to overpower these trees with too much dark colour, so I'm just being very careful. Some phthalo blue and some cadmium yellow again. I'm going slightly richer this time, slightly richer, and I may even take a hint of lamp black, okay, a tiny hint. I just want to get a nice dark, dark green, all right? I'm going to start pulling this in, just very roughly like this, okay? Just pick out some little dark spots, very, very loose. Now, don't be afraid of ruining anything on this, all right? Just pop a little bit of dark green in here and there. That's our next darker shade. There is some quite dark ones in there. I'm going to pop some really dark ones in. Some lamp black and cadmium yellow. Okay? Because remember, for your brights, you want some nice dark. So our nice bright highlights will stand out lovely against all of these in a moment. A little bit of blue, perhaps. Let's put a bit of blue in there. A bit of dark blue. Just think of foliage, nothing else. Just think of trees and foliage, nothing else. Now, I'm going to just soften all of this together very gently with my brush. Look, just pop it out, leave it soften together. And really, at the end of the day, it's just an impression of some foliage outside the window. That's really all we're trying to get, all right? So I'm going to stop at that. Just give my brush a quick clean. Now, we could use a palette knife for the next section. If you want, we could try a palette knife, get some nice thick, bright greens into this. Let's go with a small knife. Let's take some cadmium yellow and a touch of blue, okay? So a rich, rich, rich green, a very rich, vibrant green, okay? We start off with this color perhaps, and we go from here. We'll just see what way it looks, okay? Let's pop in a little bright green here and there. Look, I'm just sort of flicking. The technique with the palette knife really is just sort of flicking little bits of leaves and foliage and all that kind of thing here and there. See what I mean? It's just a very kind of a rough effect. Then we can start brightening this. We could go to cadmium yellow. You could even use just cadmium yellow on its own, but I think a little touch of Naples yellow might help as well. I still have a bit of green in this, okay? It's just a very bright green. See that? And remember, this is going to be the focal point, so I do want to just really take my time. You know, when you look at this painting, you're going to be immediately drawn into that window. That's what it's all about, the view out the window. So I just want to take my time on this and really just do a nice job. A little bit of white and a bit of blue into that mix as well. Now, I'm just going to clean my palette knife quickly, take a little phthalo blue, get some white, and I'm picking up little touches. You see that green? Just picking up little touches of the green on the palette as well. So we have a bright bluey green. And perhaps just one or two along here as well. Nice thick palette knife work. And look, you could even just catch it and you could soften it all back together slightly if you want, just to create a slightly fuzzy look. That will give you some depth as well, looking out the window. Okay, now I don't think there's any more we need to do apart from that. I think that's okay. If you want to really catch the sunlight outside on, you see there's really some bright sunlight out there. It's almost a white. Let's take some cadmium yellow with white. If you really want to go to town with sunlight, pop a little cadmium yellow with white out there. Little flicks with the knife, you see that? Small flicks. Now, there's something I want to mention, okay? I had a comment on my channel yesterday. Somebody was saying, you know, that some of the paintings on the channel are becoming very difficult. Hence the name of the channel, Easy Oil Painting. Now, The issue with that is I want to push viewers and push students, let's say, just push them a little bit every now and then. If I keep doing very easy oil paintings, I find people will get bored and they'll switch off because they're just not getting enough and they want to progress. So that's why sometimes I will put some slightly more difficult paintings up on my channel, okay? That's the only reason. Just to push you a little bit. If I keep putting easy, simple tutorials up online, people will just, viewers, amateurs, beginners, they will tend to get bored and want to switch off and go to something a little more complicated somewhere else. So that's the only reason I always, every now and then, I put a slightly more difficult painting up online for you to try. But for the most part, most of the techniques I use on my tutorials are just simple, easy to follow techniques. If you just follow them in steps, that's what I would say, okay? Just follow them in steps. Now I've taken some burnt umber and black, okay? Get the edge of this window frame down here. So I just wanted to kind of confirm that. I know a lot of you may struggle with some of the paintings that I'm doing and the techniques. But look, what I would say is just focus on one area at a time. I find with a lot of people, a lot of amateurs and beginners, they're looking around the painting and they're trying to get everything done at the same time. You know, being impatient, I suppose. What I would say is just like this, focus on one section of a painting at a time. And when you're happy with that, then just move on, you know. Don't try to get every single section of the painting done at the same time. Because if you try to focus on everything at once, you will just get lost and bogged down and you become frustrated. That's what I would say. And it can be very frustrating, even sometimes for me. If it's a very intricate painting, this is quite a simple painting, okay? It's just a window with some dark colour. Think of it like that. And at the very end, you worry about your highlights, okay? Don't worry about highlights too soon in the painting. All the bright colours and the highlights will be done at the very end. I'm just worried right now at this moment in time about filling in, just getting colour on the canvas. That's all. Basic colours, the undercoat colours, we'll say, the base colours. So a little bit of brown, a little bit of sienna, whatever. Just pop it in, okay? Just paint it in. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight either. My lines aren't straight. And in fact, if it's not straight, it does give a bit of character to a painting because it's an old house. Okay, it looks like a very old house to me, so I'm going to say it's a very old house. Now, I have my base colours in for the window frame, okay? What I'm going to do is, simply with the same brush, pick up some sienna. You can see a bit of light down here. Pick up some sienna and just flick a little sienna. Just paint on its own, nothing else. And let's pop a little bit up here. And you know, I know you can't see this sienna that I'm putting on, but when I put on the lighter colour next, it'll blend with the sienna. So clean my brush just quickly, okay? Just very, very quick clean. Let's take sienna with some Naples yellow and perhaps a hint of cadmium red. Let's just warm it. Nice warm colour, but slightly on the bright side, okay? Now, I'm going to just simply go along and pull some of that bright colour and leave it soften up. See that? Instantly we have a little bit of light just at the bottom of the window frame. Isn't that easy? It actually is that simple, okay? Just catch a highlight and just drag it up here. Let's put a little bit up here. Clean the tip of your brush each time just to keep it clean. And we can put a little bit along here as well, just here and there, look. So now, already you can see we have something beginning to show, come to life. And for me, this is probably the most intricate piece of the painting. Everything else is just very loose and very broad with a big brush. So let's just take our time with this. All right, take your time. Don't be rushing to get it finished as quickly as possible. I'm going to go with cadmium red and some cadmium yellow. Let's get a nice bright orangey sort of a colour. So I want the light catching this. So for instance, a little bit of sunlight coming in the window, catching here and there. Another little flick like that. A little bit more yellow. And you'll notice I'm putting on slightly thicker paint on this because it's sticking. You see the way it's sticking nicely. If I put on very wet paint, it'll just make a mess. So thin coats first, then thicker coats for the highlighted colours. Let's try a piece over here. Now, see, even a little bit of red from the cadmium red, that's fine. That's adding character to the painting. Little flick here and there. So now we have some really nice effects of light hitting the window frame, don't we? Let's put in that center piece and we'll go from there, all right? I'm just going to take a small brush. I don't want to go anything too small. Medium round brush look. And number 3. Let's put in the center piece across the window. I'm going to leave all the small bits until last, okay? Because I want to kind of carry on and get all this filled in. A little bit of turpentine in this. A bit of black, a bit of burnt umber. Let's go to the center of this window and just lean down hard, put a piece across. Okay? Just like that. It's that simple. And don't worry if it's not straight, okay? It doesn't have to be straight. I'll take a little cadmium red, I think. Just pop a little cadmium red in there. And let's pick up some sienna with the corner of the brush. Pops up sienna across there. Now, I'm happy with that. I have my basic window in and done. Right, I'm going to grab a big brush and start filling all this in, okay? Let's go to town. Let's have a bit of fun with this. And I would say now this is a relatively easy tutorial, okay? A relatively easy painting. I know you look at the colours and you think, oh, there's a lot going on. I can't do this. Just follow me along, okay? Don't be afraid to use colours, and especially dark colours. A lovely rich dark blacky green. Let's mix it. What do you mix for a lovely rich dark blacky green? Black and yellow. Let's take some lamp black and cadmium yellow. We'll use what we have there and then put more on in a moment. Plenty of thinners in this. I'm also going to use a little bit of phthalo blue because I can see a hint of blue in the green. Okay, now I need more cadmium yellow. The trick with this painting is if you look carefully, you will see there is a lot of green. Everything involves a little touch of green. So if you want to bring a little touch of green into a painting, just grab some cadmium yellow, look, just like this. Don't be shy. Grab some cadmium yellow. We have a dark green. Let's just go with that, okay? Come down here along the side of the reveal. I'm leaving the lights, all right? All those light colours, I'm leaving those alone. Let's fill this in with a very nice dark green. We go around the steps very quickly, okay? So you see, what you want to do is just start with the most popular colour that you have in this background, so which is a very dark colour, a dark, rich, dark green. So just mix a rich dark green and cover the entire background with that. And you can just add colours as you need, okay? Let's go over here. I make this reveal just slightly bigger over here. I cover all of this side as well. Cover everything, don't be shy. Cover it all with a nice dark colour. Up on top it's almost black, isn't it? So let's just take a touch of turpentine and take a bit of black. Pop a little bit of black up there. Soften it down, either side. And it probably just looks like a real blacky colour on camera. Now what I'm going to do is, Look around and see where you have your darks. So it gets darker down here, doesn't it? So let's take some lamp black and phthalo blue. Okay, that'll give us a bluey black. Let's pop some of that down here. Just go right across, don't be shy, soften it up. Lift off nice and gently, soften it up. There we go. And it also gets quite dark on this side as well. So let's take some of that, go up here. And I'm going to show you a lovely little trick here in a moment. To bring dark shadowed areas to life, okay? One very, very good way you can do that, if you find your dark shadowed areas are just very bland and very flat, a great way to do this is simply take some very rich purple, okay? Let's get some phthalo blue, lots of magenta, and a hint of white, okay? Now, you see this very rich pinky colour we have? I'm going to pop some of this in around here and there. So perhaps the light is catching the wall, reflecting from walls, okay? So what we have is light reflecting from different walls in the room back onto this wall. Let's try that again. A little bit more magenta, and let's pop a little bit in around here. Take a bit more blue. See, I'm alternating between the colours, you see that? So I just grabbed a little touch of phthalo blue. I didn't clean my brush. Pop a little blue in there and soften it into that dark. So we're starting to get different shades of colour. Now you can soften this around the corner as well. You could use a soft brush if you like. Just to soften it all in. Pop a little on this side, not too much. Nice and soft. So you can see we already have a lovely subtle light in the room here, don't we? I like that. That's really nice. So we already have so much done in this background. Isn't that amazing? Now, I want to create a little texture on the wall. So what I might do is go to my smaller flat brush and start putting in hints of green into the wall. I'm going to take some cadmium yellow. Now, there's already a bit of black on this, you see, so I just pulled out a little touch of cadmium yellow there. And I'm simply going to just add little hints of that greeny colour just here and there to the wall, you see. For instance, let's go in under here, a touch of green. Over here, let's put a hint of green through that blue very softly, and a bit down here. So we're starting to get these lovely colours coming through the painting. Now, I do want to create some texture on the wall, okay? It's a very old wall, lots of texture going on. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my little pointy palette knife, this one, and I'm going to take a little black and a little magenta. Now, you may be slightly apprehensive when doing this. You don't need to do this if you feel like you're happy so far and you want to keep it simple. Just leave it as it is. But I just feel I want to add a little texture to the wall, okay? Just here and there. I'm going to take a little bit of that dark colour and I'm simply just going to drag. Look, very lightly. I'm letting the canvas drag the palette knife, drag the paint off of the palette knife rather, okay? That's what I'm doing. Just here and there. Even a bit of that brown, grab some of that brown, look. Let's go into some black, pop some black around here and there. I'm just literally putting a tiny bit of this here and there, just to create some nice texture on the wall, okay? Because I'm then going to soften all of this out with a lovely soft brush in a moment. Okay, we have that. Now, let's get our soft brush. We could try a fan brush or this soft fan brush. Let me try this. Simply just going to go over all of these, up and down, look. I really just want to create some texture on the wall, but a very soft texture, all right? It's just to give a bit of interest. Otherwise, you know, if you don't do this, it will just look very flat, the painting. It'll look very, very flat. So I think just with a little palette knife, a tiny bit of texture goes a long way. And it will give you the impression of a very old building. Then you can go across it if you want, soften them in a bit more. You can swing it around in circles, look, if you want to blend it back out a little bit more. So there we go. Now, so far, that didn't take us very long. I know you can't see this on camera now, it probably looks a little bit dark. But I'm going to start putting in some light colour, okay? And I'm excited now about putting in these lights because the whole thing will just spring to life. I'm going to take a small flat brush, okay? Let me find one that now I think is going to work for this. Okay, I have a little brush here. It's not perfect, it's not great, but it will do the job for what I need right now. Okay, here we go. Nice little one here. I'm going to start mixing brights for this. I'll start with this this green on this side, okay? Let's take some cadmium yellow, slightly damp brush again, okay, just to help it move around. And I'm going to go for some burnt sienna. Now, I'm going to put this in. Again, just very, very loosely. Maybe a touch of blue, make it slightly green, and a hint of Naples yellow perhaps. And mix plenty of it now, don't be shy, okay? And pull that right down. So we have then a little piece across the top. We can just pop a little cadmium yellow and cadmium red across there. And it's not straight, okay? Don't worry about getting a straight line. You can see in the photograph, the ceiling has a bit of a bend in the ceiling. So don't be trying to put completely straight lines in here. There's really no need. Just give it a bit of a bend, like that. Okay, so we have that done. Now you can see it looks like a flat color, doesn't it? So what I want to do is just add some dark towards the frame. You see on the photograph it gets darker as it goes in. Let's just take a bit of black and perhaps a bit of blue. That will give us a nice dark, shady color, okay? Push it just down into the window frame, push it in, and then you just want to sort of soften it outwards with your brush, very gently. And I will put a palette knife on this as well to create some texture very soon. But let's just do one thing at a time for now. A bit of black just in there by the window frame. And soften across where it meets. See? Already we're starting to get that mood, that kind of dark mood feeling with the light coming in, aren't we? Okay, let's go to the other side. Let's pop some colour in here. I'm going to start with a medium kind of a greeny colour first. So a little bit of cadmium yellow, some blue. Again, I need more cadmium yellow. It's a slightly softer colour on this side because the sunlight is catching this wall, so it's going to be slightly warmer. this one is slightly cooler. So a little bit more blue in this, you see? And the lovely thing about this painting is you don't have to worry about getting straight lines, because you can see it has a bit of character. The fact that the walls are not completely straight, it gives it some nice character, doesn't it? I'm taking some phthalo blue, magenta, and a little white, okay? I'm just going to pop that bright colour towards the bottom. Bring it across the bottom as well and soften it over. Soften it up. Okay, there we go. I'm going to switch now to a small flat brush. My small stubby flat brush. I'm going to take some white, some phthalo blue, and I'm going to put a little bit of that magenta in there perhaps. I just want to get a very rich bright at the corner of this. So let's sketch in the corner like this, and then simply drag from that corner up. So now we have our little reveal done. I'm going to take some cadmium red and magenta with some white. And down on the bottom, I see a bit of a pink, okay? A light pink. Soften it back just like that. And you could even bring some of that pink, if you want, across here. Like that. That looks nice, doesn't it? Now again, on this side, we have a little dark. So just concentrate on one piece at a time. So look at the corners and focus on those. If you look down here on the photograph, you'll see it just goes from a dark out to a light, doesn't it? So let's take some burnt umber and a little black. And I'm just going to put, first of all, let's draw the line. So we need perspective. Everything goes outwards like this, okay? Out like this in the corners. So let's draw a line coming out like this. And then we'll pull some dark across and just lift off, okay? Pull across, lift off, pull across, lift off. Soften them across nice and gently outwards, you see? Then I'll just finally take some black on its own, just a little black with my dry brush, and we have little kind of a shadow where the window casts a little shadow. Just put that across like that. So now, also, while we have this colour, let's take some of that black and the brown, and let's just darken some of the window frame. You can see it looks almost black in some parts, doesn't it? So let's just put some of that on the window frame over here. Nice dark shade. I'm going to soften it over. I like this light, I'm going to leave that. It's not on the photograph. But I'm just going to sharpen the edges of the window frame with this dark colour, okay? Some black, some brown. And I promise you, just try this, okay? Don't be afraid, just give it a try. And at the end of the day, what's the worst that can happen? It's only paint. If you make a mistake, you can just clean your canvas with something and start again. Honestly. Just do try it. Because unless you try it, you're never going to know if you can do it or not. Isn't that right? A little bit of dark up in this corner here. And I'm going to go nice and dark up in this corner. Bring some nice rich dark blacky colour down from the corner I go up slightly higher. You see that bend in the ceiling? Let's go up slightly higher with that. And then soften the black downwards. Dragging it along. Okay. Now, there's one thing I want to do with this on the window frame. It will help. I'm going to take some blue and some magenta. And I'm going to just pop a little of that here and there in the shadow. And you'll notice close up what that will do. It just brings the shadows to life. Soften a little through here and there. As well, I'm going to darken up in this corner. You can see we have some very dark green coming into the painting up there. So up in the reveal, I'm going to just darken this slightly with some dark green and again soften it down. The trick here, really, I have to say, is softening colours together, okay? That's the trick. Just leave it loosen out, see? Leave it flick off and disappear. I'm going to put some black up here as well. So the window frame almost disappears into the wall. It's so dark. See what I mean? It does, doesn't it? In some parts, it almost disappears into the wall. Okay. So this lovely little study now, wasn't this nice? I must say now I enjoyed this. It was really nice and refreshing. I'm going to just now add some brights. Okay, let's get some brights going. I'll start with the light blues and the whites. Let's get some white and perhaps a hint of cadmium red. I'm going to go for a very bright whitey pinky colour down here first. All right. Okay. Then I'm going to take some nice bright bluey colour. And I'm going to pop some nice bright bluey colour in here. And you can even see the technique I'm using. I'm just holding the brush on side and sort of scratching. So that then is giving me a little texture, isn't it? Now I'll clean the brush quickly and let's put some bright colours on the yellow side of this painting. Okay, so cadmium yellow, a little cadmium red perhaps, and some Naples yellow. And I'm just going to start putting suggestion of little, you see, little marks here and there, as if the light is coming in and catching the back edge and soften it out. Just pop a little in, that's all you have to do, just a little, okay? Then I'm going to take some of this light pink, maybe a hint of Naples yellow or something like that, just to create, you see the way the wallpaper is peeling off, or the plaster, or the paint is peeling off the wall. And pop a little bit of that in here and there. Okay, just like that. You can do the same over here if you like. Little touch of it here and there. I'll just soften this down with the brush. Soft brush, soften it all out. There. Now I think that was relatively easy, don't you? You see, it's just a matter of looking and just doing certain little steps. For instance, you want to create some light up on the ceiling. Let's just grab some cadmium yellow, a little cadmium red. Okay, just focus on this one section now. Don't go looking around anywhere else. This one section, cadmium yellow, cadmium red, and a little white. Okay, there's mostly yellow in this. And you know what we're going to do? Let's just pop a little light in up here. Okay, start at the corner, draw your line, and then just flick some white outwards. Like that. Okay, really that's all you have to do. Just remember to soften it outwards as as you drag away, okay? Now I will just put a little bit of a bluey green down around here, okay? You can see a bit of a bluey green coming into the painting just here. Just going to add a touch, and again I can soften this back in then. All right. Now I'm also going to add a touch of that color while I have it to this wall here. And perhaps a little bit of that bluey mauve color over on this side. Let's just scratch it, soften it out. Creating some light just in this corner over here on the wall, okay? And you can see by scratching, you're even creating some texture as you scratch it on as well. That's what we want. We want some texture, don't we? Don't be afraid. Don't think you're going to ruin your painting, because honestly, you won't. I'm sure any of you watching right now can do this. Absolutely sure. Now we have a nice dark window board under here. Let me just get a small pointy brush and pop a little window board in just to set everything off. I'm going to get some burnt umber, some thinners and some black, okay? It was also suggested perhaps we could put a cat or something looking out the window. I think that's quite a nice idea. What do you think? A silhouette of a black cat sitting on the windowsill looking out. We could do that. We can do whatever we like. It's our painting. We can put a plant, a cat, anything. Okay, a nice little dark. Now while we have our dark color, we could just refine and add a few darks here and there to the window frame. Just take a little black here and there. Okay, just add little darks here and there. That's all. Put a little bit of shape across there, soften it out. Just pull your line out that you just painted, pull it outwards, soften it across. All right, we could go up here and just refine some dark here as well. I know I'm spending a lot of time now just on one piece, but you can see the effect just by taking your time and concentrating on one section. You can see what happens. You know, it really does pay off. So don't try to go around painting everything at once. Just really take your time. There's no rush with this whatsoever. I put a tiny black line back here. So now we can see we have some perspective in the window, which looks really nice. Also, just to create one last touch of brightness, I'm going to use my pointy brush, take some cadmium yellow, cadmium red. I just want to really give this a punch, okay? Cadmium yellow, cadmium red, little white, maybe a touch of sienna. That's too much. See how easy it is to ruin your mix. Very, very easy to overdo it. Now let's take this color and let's just really pop a bright light up there, okay? I just wanted to really capture the effect of the sun, you know, hitting the walls. Really, really hitting the walls. And a little perhaps just along here. A little along there. So I know we spent a lot of time just on the window, but you can see it has paid off. And I'm happy with that. So we spent a half hour or so on the window. I think it looks good. While we're here, should we just finish the uprights on the window? It's actually very, very simple. Okay, let's just get this small brush. We'll take some black, okay? Lots of turpentine, lots of black. Let's just fill this in as we're here. Come on, let's do this. I go one down here. Load up again, another one. Down here. Now, they may not be straight. It's very difficult to tell if they're straight sometimes with everything else. But I'm just crossing my fingers. If they're not straight, I really don't mind too much. We have another one. Follow these. You could just go straight down from the start to finish. Okay, that would make it easier. Clean the brush again. Load back up. And then we have one going right across the middle. And again, they're not going to be straight, okay? On the photograph, yes, but this could be a very old window. Let's pretend it's a very old window. It's 100 years old. It's crooked, it's bent, and all that kind of stuff, okay? Let's just pretend. There we go. So now, all you have to do is just refine some of those lines. So cut through your centerpiece, like that, okay? And then what I'm going to do is just cut across the tops and cut across the bottom. And I'm then going to put a slight hint of white. Now I know this seems dramatic, but get some white on your pointy brush. Now you need a very fine pointy brush for this. If you don't have a fine pointy brush, don't worry, you don't have to do this. So I'm going to put a hint of white just down the sides and on top of some of these, just to give the impression of the light catching the outside and the edge of the frames. Sunlight just coming in, catching some of the edges, okay? And look, honestly, if you're not comfortable with this, just leave it as it is, okay? You don't really have to try and copy everything exactly that I'm doing. I'm finished with this. I'm going to leave this. I think I'll just leave it. Perhaps we could add a little light to some of the window frame here. You can see we have little bits of light just catching some edges. And that will do. So there we go. We're finished part one, my friends. We are finished. I'm going to call this part one finished. Let's take a break, go and get a coffee, and then come back and reassess where we are. I think that's probably a good idea, don't you? Pop a bit of white in there just to brighten that highlight. I'll zoom in for you, just so you can see better and get a clear picture of where we are. There we go. So we have the little perspective. We have some nice perspective as well. You see those angles? Those angles are very important, okay? That's what gives you the perspective in the painting. You see, everything is going off into the distance, okay? So don't forget to get those angles just right. I will be right back with part 2. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this so far. I think it's fantastic. I love painting something still life just like this. It's really refreshing, and you're learning about just adding little highlights here and there, small sharp highlights, really just make a painting pop, I find. So this is really nice. I'm kind of really enjoying this now. I hope you are. Let me know what you think, and I'll be right back with part 2. Okay? Don't go anywhere. I'll see you very soon.